What do you think of this incredible WrestleMania set here?
Nolans, man, they just seem to get bigger and more grandiose each and every year. And Brock Lesnar making the entrance, and still haven't seen him yet, but I know his music's playing because I see his picture up there. But you just take this. This is funny. Kevin Sullivan, the devil, Kevin Sullivan asked me this question the other day. He says, Bruce, let me ask you, if you saw Brock Lesnar on one side of the street and Kevin Owens on the other side of the street, and you got to fight one of them, which one are you going to? He says, fuck Brock Lesnar. I'm not going near him. He's a monster. I mean, Brock is the ultimate just fighting machine. And you take a look at him, he looks like a badass. He is a badass. Mick Foley always tells the story. He says, you know why people think that Brock Lesnar doesn't like anybody and that he's mean and he likes to inflict pain? Because he doesn't like anyone and he loves to inflict pain. So that's just who he is a human being. That's who he really is. He had his own plane because he didn't like going to airports.
Who fucking likes going to airports?
Okay, but I'm not going to go buy my own plane.
Well, I mean, if you had that Brock Lesnar money, you might.
He really didn't have Brock Lesnar money at the time, but he had enough that it was worth it to him to get a plane and not go through airports.
This is a special match for me. I don't know that you've ever talked about this. This is my first WrestleMania I ever went to.
Well, hell, how was it?
It was great, man. I'd been a wrestling fan for, 22 years. And this is my first one. I had, sort of gotten in and out of wrestling over the years. How about in the front row right there? We see, man, I forget that guy's name, and he follows me on Twitter and we DM, and he's a nice guy, but kid, the bald kid with the glasses who just freaks the fuck out when the streak goes down.
Yes. And his picture is forever immortalized by
Absolutely.
God for what the hell just happened. Take a look at this man.
What's funny is I just typed in Undertaker streak guy. Oh, there it is. His name is Ellis. I can't pronounce Ellis's last name. Mbeh. Thanks for listening to the show here, Ellis. Hopefully you're on Patron with us. Yeah, I'm from Alabama. I can't pronounce your last name, Ellis. Sorry about that. Yeah, this was, I took a couple of super casual wrestling fans, and here's a peek behind the curtain since we're on Patron. My very best wrestling friend my entire life is a guy named Clint, and Clint is from fucking Hershey, Pennsylvania. So you've heard us rib Clint for over 100 episodes. Whenever Bruce breaks out a special impression, Bruce, remind everybody what Clint from Hershey sounds like.
This is Clint, and I've loved wrestling my entire life. I believe that Brock Lesnar was not the man. If this were a shoot fight, the Undertaker would have buried him in one of these very specially made caskets just for him.
So this is kind of fun. The imagery that we get here, we get all these caskets of all the folks that he's beaten over the years, and they're showing little clips of every single win. And there's some stinkers in there, but there's some big opponents as well. Live, one of these fucking things caught on fire.
Undertaker doesn't have a lot of good luck with pyro and fire, man. He's been caught on fire a couple of times.
Isn't that a crazy thing to say about somebody at work? Oh, I got caught on fire today. What happens? Well, it's walking through the caskets and
they blew him up on stage one time. He caught on fire. And then a couple of times when he used to do the pyro in the corners and have the big concussions, they blew up right in his face.
Well, I mean, it's a good thing he's already dead.
Yeah, exactly. That's what I said.
So anyway, Clint from Hershey, he was with me here, and this was his first WrestleMania. And, since I live in Huntsville, this wasn't that bad of a deal. So we went down and spent the whole week. I camped out, got a suite, and we all just hung out, and it was awesome. And I invited two of my buddies, one of which is Cole Kubelik from ESPN and the SEC Network and Jocks in Birmingham. And the other is somebody we talk about here on the show all the time, Mr. Cassio Kidd. And this was our first WrestleMania experience. And when the pin happened, we all thought it was a fuck up. Like, we're looking around like, okay, they got to restart the match because that was not the plan. And then they showed the graphic and I'm like, boy, they had that ready awfully fast. And then they started playing the music and I was like, holy shit, I think we just saw wrestling history. And this night started with Hulk Hogan, The Rock, and Stone Cold in the ring at the exact same time. So it makes you, this is just filled with big WrestleMania moments. And of course, we're going to cap the night off with Daniel Bryan's historic yes world title win. So big deal for wrestling.
Huge deal. And, you're looking at the Undertaker's entrance right now, and this would be something a lot of times when we would think about the location for the next WrestleMania, and you would think about Undertaker's entrance a lot of times before you'd even think about who his opponent was going to be.
Yeah, that always disappointed me when y'all ran shows on the West Coast. Like a year after this, you're in San Jose, and he's doing it in the fucking daytime, and that just sucks.
Well, I wasn't there, Conrad. Don't yell at me about it. Wasn't y'all?
Oh, okay. I
was fired at this time.
WrestleMania.
I'm watching this on my couch. I didn't even have enough money to go to the damn thing. Okay.
I love you for that. I couldn't even afford to go to this one.
Yeah, I wasn't rich like you. I didn't know you then. Hell.
We didn't have Patron.
Yeah.
That's pre-Patron days. That's my PP
I was
days.
drinking that Ron Rico rum. That was about as close to Patron as I could get.
That's that OPP, that other people's Patron. So yeah, he's looking back here. And so, but here's the thing with this. They can't get this fucking fire out. Now they're going to cut away in a minute, but they're wigging the fuck out with fire extinguishers in just a minute. And it's a real mess.
Well, shit happens, man. It's like, what the fuck?
Well, here's the thing too. Like, how many practice sessions of exploding caskets were they expected to do?
I'm sure they did at least one or two.
It's worth mentioning here. Even if you're a non-wrestling fan, you've got to be so impressed with this. That was what, Cole was really taken aback by, cause Cole's like an old school Andre the Giant, JYD wrestling fan, but this more modern stuff, maybe not so much, but the entrance set and just this presentation, it's something to see in real life just to really get a grasp of the scope and scale.
Yeah. The pomp and circumstance of WrestleMania really and truly is, and I've never been to a Super Bowl, so I can't compare that on an even playing field. But to me, the spectacle of WrestleMania is second to none. And especially with just everything they put into it now. I can't imagine, the 8-hour, 10-hour production it feels like today. But I know even back in the day when I was there, it was just such an incredible production that it was awe inspiring. And to watch it on pay-per-view is just pretty damn cool as well.
So, we've been watching for 48 minutes. The match hasn't started yet.
We got to get their time in.
Yeah. I'm not mad at it. Let's run through. I do want to run you through some opponents, and I want you to, we'll just run through the streak here. March of 91 in Los Angeles, he beat Jimmy Snuka 4 minutes and 20 seconds. Give me some word associations. Say things.
A beginning.
Indianapolis in April of 92 over Jake Roberts in 6 minutes and 36 seconds.
I wasn't there, but it was kind of the battle of the dark side.
April of 93, Undertaker and Giant Gonzalez by DQ, 7 minutes, 33 seconds.
I apologize.
No 94. What's up with that?
Taker was hurt.
April of 95, Undertaker over King Kong Bundy in Hartford, 6 minutes, 36 seconds, just like Jake the Snake, exact same number of minutes and seconds.
Yeah, that's exactly what we wanted to do. So let's go back and recreate the Jake. Sorry. I owe everyone and Taker an apology on that one too.
Anaheim, March of 96 over Diesel, 16 minutes, 46 seconds.
Now we're back on track. And, in a lot of ways that was the battle of our big men at that time.
Here's the big one. March of 97 in Chicago over Sid in 21-29 to win the WWF title.
thought it was time. He was the man. We were going to make him the man in front of the camera too.
All right, we'll do one more before we take a break here. Boston, March 98 over Kane, 16 minutes, 58 seconds.
The beginning of a wonderful story.
We can do one more. April of 01 in Houston over Triple H, 18 minutes, 17 seconds.
Just again, solidifying that he was the man.
That's 9 wins here. We're almost halfway through the streak and the bell's about to ring. What do you make of the Undertaker's new Mohawk Chuck Liddell style haircut here?
Well, I had talked to him beforehand, and it's funny when he goes back and forth with the hair, and he just hated the long hair for so long, and he wanted to get all the hair off. And that was something, even going back to the Triple H match, where he had cut his hair thinking that he was done. And then Vince got him to come back in the wig and cut his hair off to do that shit. But it was a different look. Again, it's reinventing himself and creating a new and different persona. I hate the damn, the fake bake and the orange tan on him.
What is fake bake?
Fake bake is, the fake tanning spray that bodybuilders use and stuff like that. That was the name of it. Fake bake.
What about Undertaker's mascara? Who puts Undertaker's mascara on for him?
He does. He does his own. Good God, man. He's a man.
Okay. Thank you for that. How about the clothesline where he just lands on his feet from the outside of the ring? That's awesome to me.
Well, he's a big enough bastard that he can do that. And that was something that Vince always wanted to protect. And the only guy that did it was Undertaker for a long time. And then guys just did it as high spots and shit, but that was the Undertaker deal. And, it's interesting. You talked about how Meltzer said this match was a dud. It wasn't good. Man, this was a physical fucking match and it was believable. And not all of them are going to be, these, friggin' New Japan spot monkey fest.
Oh my God.
It's two big guys. It's two big guys beating the shit out of each other and telling a different story. A battle and a brawl.
Why do you have to shit on New Japan and call everything spot monkey?
Well, because that's what he thinks is the greatest shit.
No, that's not true.
It is true.
No, it's not. This is a guy who used to rate, Shawn Michaels and Undertaker 5-star matches.
Because of when they were doing a lot of the spots. Look, fuck, I'm not going to get into that argument over that douchebag here on Patreon.
Well, don't
vote for Patreon.
Don't you're just going to have fun with this now.
Well, no, you're going to bring up his ratings on matches. I'm going to comment on them.
No, but you said,
and
spot
these guys
monkeys.
beating the shit out of them.
It's amazing to me. You just look for reasons to piss people off. You're a heel.
I am a heel. You're right. But it's a physical match and it's a different style. And again, Taker being older, he's not going to have that same fast paced match. It's a whole different style. He's in there with a brawler. He's in there with a UFC guy, and it's going to be different. So it's one thing, when you talk about, this UFC match was a great match when they lay on the damn ground in a Cobra Kai.
Here you are fancying yourself a karate man, and you're saying they're laying on the ground in a Cobra Kai.
That's a devastating hold, that old Cobra Kai.
What do you make of Brock driving the shoulder in? I don't know that I'd want to take one of those.
You know what? There's not a whole lot I would want to take from Brock, but if you're in there with him, it's not like you got a whole lot of choice.
Yeah. It was
if he wants to do something to you, he's going to do it.
It's not a fun thing to joke about at all. But 10 years ago, I saw Joe Rogan in Las Vegas, and he was putting over Brock because Brock was fighting in the UFC at the time. And he's like, this motherfucker is from another time. I mean, this son of a bitch used to, be on a Clydesdale with like one of those 100-pound swords that he's just swinging around with one fucking hand. And people start laughing. He's like, no, I'm not kidding. When you're around this guy, you realize even as a man, you're like, rape is an option.
Yes.
And
Yeah.
And so people just get quiet and look at him. He's like, no, I'm just saying it's not up to you. Like whatever he wants to do, it's happening and you can't stop it. And
Big Show was like that, saying here's a 7-foot guy, 400 pounds that was afraid of Brock.
yeah.
Like if he wants to rip your head off and shit down your neck, he will. You know why?
Cause he can.
Exactly. Yeah. He's a different animal and a different breed, man. It's scary shit.
It's another level for sure, but there is a lot of, or so it would seem, mutual respect between Undertaker and Brock Lesnar. In your experience, what was, Brock's relationship like with Undertaker?
It was always good. And there was a lot of respect because both guys were athletes. Tough guys for the most part respect one another, and there isn't a whole lot that has to be said. And they had mutual respect for one another. Mark is a quiet guy. He's not going to tell you how tough he is or how bad he is. He'll show you, and he's going to carry himself in a way that commands respect. And Brock is pretty much the same damn way. So these guys, they did have that mutual respect because they both were tough guys that could do just about anything and stand toe to toe with the best of them.
You think these guys were ever drinking buddies? Of course, we know famously that Undertaker was not scared to drink a little Jack Daniels every now and again.
Yeah, they definitely were. And again, it helps. It helps that they liked one another. As much as Brock can like anybody. No, but Brock did like him. And as I said, and
that was the spot where a lot of people believe Undertaker had his bell rung.
He whacked the shit out of his head.
A severe concussion. And supposedly nobody's home right now. See if we notice a difference here in the match, watching it back.
Damn. Well, if that wasn't the spot, it certainly contributed to it. Because, man, that shit just looked absolutely brutal. And, you go through and watch a lot of this stuff, and you go through and watch the F5s that come afterwards and the suplexes and stuff. If that one was just something that kind of rung his bell a little bit, the rest of that stuff is probably what jarred the rest of it and made it go bye-bye.
Right.
I am just wondering here. God, the mustard tastes much better than it did on my skin. Anyway, Paul Heyman digress. But yeah, that's just being, pretty much manhandled right there. You're coming whether you want to or not.
He's still a little aware. He's selling his ass off.
No, he's still in it at this point. He's still in it at this point. I don't know that he's out of it here.
He's crumbling.
He's calling spots.
Making it legit.
Huh?
Well, we don't know that he's calling spots. We know he's talking.
I know he's calling spots.
Okay.
No, he's aware at this point, but God damn, that was snug on the outside. Shit. But that's what you do when you get in there with Brock Lesnar, man.
Give everybody a time cue so they know they're up with you.
Where the hell are we? Right now we're at 2:35:10 with Brock just working on that damn leg, and good God.
So after Hunter in Houston, he'd go in March of 2002 to Toronto and beat Ric Flair in a street fight, 18 minutes and 47 seconds. Your thoughts?
My opinion, two legends beating the fuck out of each other. That was some great shit, and I think that's where Rick got a lot of his confidence back.
The next year falls off a cliff. He gets a win over Big Show and A-Train in Seattle in 9 minutes and 45 seconds.
Beating two men, by God, because one couldn't contain him.
The next year,
shit.
MSG in 2004, he beats Kane, 7 minutes, 45 seconds.
The return of the dead man.
Man, big bump into the barricade there. When you know he's hurting, it has to hurt even more. There's fucking Brock Lesnar guy. Hey, chat me up. Remind everybody about the surgery that the Undertaker had in the last year or so.
He got new hips in the last year or so. So, obviously you saw him against John Cena and what have you, and Rusev later on, but he's moving better than I've seen him move in a long time. And I always tell him, I've said here many times, he could go to the ring until he's 70 years old and go out on a walker and the people will still be happy to see him. Now, when Brock starts these damn suplexes here, to me, I think this is probably where it really just started taking its toll. It's one thing to be taking your own bumps, and it's another thing to be thrown by another man and be hammered into the mat the way that he is.
Yeah. As he gets going here, in 2005, Undertaker beat Randy Orton in 14-14.
I think that was something, just bringing Randy. Randy was one of the first guys where we ever even discussed ending the streak.
Really? So Randy could have almost been the guy in 2005.
Yeah.
Chicago, he beat Mark Henry in a casket match, 9 minutes, 26 seconds.
Mark was discussed to take the streak too for about 30 seconds.
The next year in Detroit in 2007, he beat Batista to win the world title.
Rising up again, man. It was just, you can't kill off that character.
In 2008, he won the world title again, this time from Edge. These guys go a long time, 23 minutes, 50 seconds.
And that was somebody that, Undertaker really loved working with. And it was Undertaker beating him was a way to get Edge over.
Next up, we've got the match everybody talks about. Houston, April of 2009, Shawn Michaels, 30 minutes, 41 seconds.
My opinion, his best WrestleMania match.
No doubt about it. Let's see what Brock's got in store for Undertaker here. A little DDT action. Next up, we've got another rematch, this time in Glendale, Arizona, March of 2010 with Shawn Michaels, 23 minutes, 59 seconds.
I thought it was great, but it wasn't as good as the first one.
I agree. The next year in Atlanta in 2011, he beat Triple H in a no holds barred match, 29 minutes, 22 seconds.
I thought that the match was good, but at this point I was looking for, I don't know. I just didn't think it needed to be a no holds barred match.
A third match at WrestleMania against Triple H happens in April of 2012. This time in a Hell in a Cell, Shawn Michaels is the special guest referee, 30 minutes, 52 seconds.
Same thing. I didn't think that it needed to be the Hell in a Cell. I didn't think they needed the gimmick. To me, Undertaker's streak in WrestleMania was big enough.
Triple H has, Undertaker's gloves and hand wraps and Shawn Michaels' referee shirt with a framed picture of all three of them at the top of the ramp, framed together in his office. And it says the end of an era. April of 2013 in New Jersey, Undertaker, CM Punk, 22 minutes, 7 seconds.
I enjoyed the hell out of it because I liked the story. I liked this, as much as I was sad about the passing of my friend Bill Moody, Paul Bearer, their incorporation. I know that Paul Bearer would have loved that.
This is what Meltzer wrote of the match. Lesnar pinned Undertaker in 25 minutes and 10 seconds to end the streak. Lesnar looked gigantic, and I don't know what he weighed, but he looked 310. Undertaker looked orange with the fake tan, and this was a slow moving match that had very little heat. They did a spot where Lesnar got out of the choke slam and Undertaker out of the F5. Lesnar single legged Undertaker on the floor, and Undertaker fell over in what may have been the injury spot. The announcers called Paul Heyman the greatest manager of all time. They aren't wrong in considering him in that category, particularly when you factor in the last 2 years, but he's made it clear he's not a manager. He's an advocate. Undertaker did snake eyes and a high kick followed by a leg drop for a near fall, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. Lesnar did 2 sloppy German suplexes, but Undertaker came back with the last rod out of the corner. Undertaker hits the tombstone pile driver and people react to that, but Lesnar kicks out. He goes for a second tombstone. Lesnar reverses and from the tombstone position, powered Undertaker to his shoulders and hit a third F5 for the 3 count. Quote, everyone was shocked. Eventually, when people realized what happened, there was an Undertaker chant, but it was not as loud as you would have expected. Undertaker milked the crowd for a reaction, which was there, but nothing close to what you would have expected. The announcers then pushed the idea that he was going out for the final time, like a sense of finality. 1.5 stars. Your response?
Yeah, I disagree. It was a story of two gladiators and they're beating the shit out of each other and trying to win and nothing was working. And they beat the hell out of each other and it was a battle. So yeah, I strongly disagree with it. It's ice cream. Some people like chocolate. Some people like vanilla.
Right.
Some people like strawberry. But now I think, even, in the match, I just think that the bumps and everything else, Taker hadn't been on the road steady at this time and hadn't been working night in and night out and wasn't, in the best ring shape here. But, he's got Lesnar. What the hell is this damn thing called? Is this the Cobra Kai?
Listen to you.
What?
It's a fucking triangle choke.
Okay.
Well, actually,
that was like a dragon sleeper, wasn't it?
It's a Google plotter.
A Google plotter?
Yeah, we'll go a Google plotter.
Well, I don't even think they had Google back then.
It's
no.
GOGOPLATA. Google plotter is the technical Brazilian jiu-jitsu term for it. But yeah, there's probably some sort of, it's a fucking double underhook dragon screw sleeper reverse Schnavitz. Or what do you call it?
Fernum Schnavitz.
Fernum Schnavitz, my bad.
That's your paces.
That's Pedicay. Chase.
Pace. I'd do a whole goddamn just show with that.
You do every week.
Well, just saying. But I think, even here right now in the shoot world, it's the guys have beaten the shit out of each other.
The shoot world.
In a shoot world, yes. They have beaten the living shit out of each other.
It's just fun. In the shoot world.
Well, is not in the unshoot world.
Right. See, in the unshoot world, he's dead.
Well, yeah. And see, now he's got him in the Google suplex again.
The Google suplex.
The Googleplex. Isn't that what you call it? Is it a Googleplex?
Undertaker has a name for it. It's like something gate.
Hell's Gate.
There you go.
Yeah. Oh, well, then that's the official name. If Undertaker named it Hell's Gate, then by God, it's Hell's Gate.
It's not the Google plotter?
No, it ain't no Google. Now, okay, watch this bump here. Bam. I would say that one probably even took more out of him than the one on the outside of the ring.
Yeah, he looks asleep.
That shit hurts. And
Heyman knows it.
Yeah, it's kind of like, oh my God. Can I see a replay here, sir? And bam, because there's just nowhere to go. It's all on his back and his head, and that friggin' hurts. Did JR get a call this match, or is this Michael Cole? Hang on, I'm going to listen. I'm going to turn up my volume. Folks, don't do this at home. Nobody's saying anything. Michael Cole. All right.
Why did you think it was Jim Ross?
Well, because Jim Ross, he likes to call them big matches.
Now, he had just gotten fired for drinking with Flair.
Oh, no shit?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. I didn't know that. Okay, now, folks, let me explain to you this here key lock gimmick that Brock Lesnar has on Undertaker right now.
You mean a Kimura?
Well, it's a key lock Kimura gimmick, but it fucking hurts.
Oh, really?
Yes, it really. I ain't kidding you there. And when Brock puts it on you, it fucking hurts. And Undertaker putting it on Brock probably hurts too. Not nearly as much as the way that Brock had it hooked, though.
I don't know why, but you explaining. Now, folks, this hold hurts.
Well, I'm trying to provide color commentary here and explain to you that the pain, therefore, is in the arm where Undertaker has it locked, therefore causing pain to shoot up into his arm piece that goes in to the nerve receptacles to his brain that say, ouch. So I was never a good color guy. You know, the first time I ever did color commentary, I replaced Michael Hayes and the Freebirds were in the ring. And I remember saying to Jim Ross, well, Jim, we're cooking with gasoline now. And that was the last time I did color commentary for a long time. Yeah, I sucked. But here, man, I think Taker's probably out of it a little bit and just going on instinct and just kind of feeling it. He knows that he's in a fight, and by God, he's actually in a fight with that fucking monster there. And just going on instinct. But he's still got, shit. He's still got his wits about him to just get his leg up and do shit. I bet he wish he had some water right now, and if he was Rock and like he could just roll out of the ring and put the commentary headset on and grab a bottle of water right now. But he's got the presence of mind to go up and do a little old school here. Little wobbly. Dude, that's what we call cock strong right there. That's 320 pounds falling on you. And then to be able to pick it up and F5 it. That's a strong motherfucker. I would like to go back to the hotel now. Watch this. Off the top rope. Bam. If I was in Brock's position, I would have hit long before Undertaker did. My knees just would have buckled. Fuck this shit. But, a lot of scuttlebutt, a lot of stuff going back and forth. Who knew what, when, everything else. Again, I don't know, folks, so this ain't the gospel. This isn't one of those Bruce knows and everything else. I've been told by a couple of different people. The only people that knew were Vince, Brock, Taker, and Heyman, and that was it.
A friend of ours who's an agent didn't know and found out when everybody else did and was not happy about it. None
of the agents knew.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I would imagine, and I don't even know that I would imagine Kevin Dunn probably knew too.
This match and, the Triple H.
That shit right there hurt.
Yeah. This match and the
Germans.
Triple H match, both went long. So as a result, one of the ladies' matches was cut.
Well, it happens. It definitely happens. But man, it just was, I think that those Germans there probably did, as much damage, if not more than a lot of that other stuff earlier on in the night, because that shit's just brutal. Fuck. Last people I would want to take a German suplex from are Brock Lesnar and Dr. Death Steve Williams.
What about Swoggle? Would you take one from him?
Hell no, man, because he does them Austrian suplexes.
What do you mean Austrian suplexes?
Well, it's Austria is a little smaller than Germany, and so he learned his in Austria versus Germany.
Listen to you.
What? He's a little feller. He called me that little bastard called me last night at 12:30 at night to cuss me out for you calling him.
You left the message,
other night.
Not me.
I don't recall that.
By the way,
kind of like Undertaker doesn't recall this match right here.
Yes.
I don't recall the other night. So there.
I feel like we should also mention that, I have the voicemail he left me posted on Patron. Have you heard that?
I heard it the next day.
Well, I posted it. I bleeped a couple of words out, but I posted it.
He's got a foul mouth.
Oh, that's awful. I mean,
he foul mouthed me last night at 12:30.
He called me, but I couldn't answer.
What the hell were you doing?
Can't say.
Oh, hell.
Roll Tide.
Okay. Well, that's a good thing.
Didn't figure.
I told him it was all your fault.
Oh, did you really?
Of course I did.
Well, that doesn't surprise me.
But you see right here, man, everything he's got to do this tombstone, and people think this is it. This has got to be it. It's a tombstone. 1, 2, 3. He's got, oh no. What's it gonna take?
No, you're exactly right. That's what everybody thought.
Even Heyman thought that was finished. That's what they told him. It must be something else. Brock has now gone into business for himself. He will not be denied.
He will not be denied. I still think one of my favorite things you ever did on the show is when you were talking about how I can't believe this is real. You were talking about how Heyman doesn't use towels in hotels.
No, he uses towels. He just doesn't get clean towels.
No, yeah. That's what I mean. I'm sorry. I'm just saying, like, he doesn't, they don't want anybody to clean his room.
Right.
And, well, can we bring towels? And you immediately jumped to something that I was like, I've never heard that before, but it's the funniest thing ever. Do you remember?
No, what?
I will air dry.
Oh yeah.
I will
that was
air
in
dry
Seattle.
whore. I don't know why, but I will air dry whore. Oh my God. Tickled me.
Did we just miss the finish?
No, we didn't.
We missed the finish on air dry whore. Folks, we're talking about Paul Heyman air drying, and Brock Lesnar just beat The Undertaker 1, 2, 3. Look at the shock. We were shocked. We were talking about Paul Heyman air drying whore.
Well, look at the fans, like the reactions in the crowd. Nobody can believe what we've seen. Like, this has become the most predictable thing. I mean, this would almost be like Alabama losing in the championship game. It just doesn't happen.
And they're looking away for something else to hit.
Yeah. Someone's got to run in somebody's got to come down and change something. There's got to be something to overturn it. And by the way, Brock and Paul Heyman traded on this win for years. My client is the one in the 21-1, eat, sleep, beat the streak, repeat. I mean, he had that ramble, that pitch every single night for years. And it was all based on this.
Yeah. Because it was.
What a shot. I remember looking to my left, and I'm across the ring from where this is. I'm to their left. I'm to Heyman's left right now. And, I looked up to the left, like thinking I'm going to see something on the screen. And sure enough, when they showed that 21-1 with the lightning behind it, it's like, oh my God, look at this guy. No one can believe it.
They're crying.
Well, because he is like wrestling royalty, the most beloved. And Brock Lesnar is this mercenary for hire here, who's here to wrestle for money and hold Vince McMahon up and threaten to go to the UFC. And then the little wink. What an asshole. If he's listening right now, I didn't mean that. I'm kidding.
Yes, you did. You say that about him all the time off the air.
They don't even have that. They don't even have internet in Canada. It's fine.
Is he in Canada?
Yeah, he lives in the woods in Canada.
Because he can.
Still uses a flip phone.
What's wrong with that?
Nothing.
Okay. That's what I'm saying. And then, even still, we're 3 whatever minutes from the finish. Taker's just laying in the ring, and this audience is still in absolute disbelief.
What a shot. What a shot that is, man.
People are thinking, how could they even make 21-1 as a graphic?
Yeah.
There he is, folks. That's the man that beat the streak.
Serious business. This is this is probably my best live experience besides One Night Stand 05. I mean, this is one of the most important moments in wrestling history right here. This is probably, even with all that Heyman has accomplished, this is a top 5 all-time moment for him, right?
Oh, that was probably the biggest moment in his career. Without a doubt. That many people, that streak, that man, both, everybody involved in it. I think that was probably the biggest moment in his career for all those guys. And, talking to Undertaker afterwards, just, him sitting there thinking, I just want to get up and get out of the ring on my own.
Cause he's hurting bad.
He is hurting bad, and it's over now. The match is over. I got through it, but boy, I feel it. So it was, he was a hurting puppy. And right about this time, as I'm sending my annual text to him and telling him, great job, hated the finish, love you, let me know you're okay. And didn't hear back from him until the next day.
Well, he had other shit going on.
I'm sure they gave him his phone, Conrad.
Why didn't he return my text?
Why didn't he return my text? Yes.
I brought him into this goddamn company and he can't return my text. I'm in the hospital.
That's all he had to say, man.
What? I'm in the hospital?
Yeah.
Oh,
I would have understood.
Now you're being a smart ass. I see.
Yeah.
I thought you were saying the next day he was just like hospital, but no, you mean that's all he had to say. It wouldn't have been that hard. Your fingers weren't broken, just your brain and your hips and your back and your neck and your arms, but your fingers were fine. God damn it.
It's me.
Yes. That is the most Bruce thing ever.
Yeah.
Listen, I understand that nobody's allowed in here, but it's me. I'm special.
I've actually said that before.
No, I know.
And by the way, it works.
How about here on Patron, biggest moment in WWE history, maybe in the last 5 years, top 5 probably ever. Typical me and you missed the finish because we're laughing about Paul Heyman. I will air dry whore.
And that's definitely in the top 5 of the Patron bonus shows.
Yeah, top 5.
Yeah, definitely top 5. So there you go. Yeah, and the other thing about the whole Heyman, everybody of course giving him a standing ovation because he deserves it. And look at Lawler's hair here from when we were looking at stuff and what was it back in 1999. Anyway, but the other thing about Paul Heyman's hotel room was the flecks of like underarm deodorant, white flakes all over the room too. It was interesting. Just had to throw that in. And one asshole holding up a buzz sign. So if you're listening to this on Padrone, you're an asshole because everybody else is standing and showing respect for the most part. It's 6:52 p.m. New Orleans time. And that, folks, is just sheer adrenaline and just willpower right there for him to be standing and not collapsing there. So he got him some cotton mouth working, and every single fiber in his body is in pain.
It's crazy to think about. This is, I mean, I thought this was it. I thought that was definitely the end. I think a lot of people had that natural conclusion, and you hear, you see this long, lonely walk here. And after he took his sweet time getting out of the ring, now he's got a concussion, but you didn't maybe know that at the time. You assume, oh, well, this is it. But hell, we assumed that in Orlando when he left the hat and the jacket in the ring, and it didn't happen there either. But then you read online that he was rushed to the hospital and that Vince McMahon left WrestleMania and wasn't there for the main event of WrestleMania because he was checking on the Undertaker. I think at that point, everybody thought, man, we've just squeezed all we can out of him. You used to tell a story about riding with Vince McMahon where he would just pick you to death about asking questions and what about this and what about that, and just constantly working on business. And when you were exhausted and passing out and can barely function, and he drops you off at your house, before you get out, he says,
Did I get it all?
I mean, this at this point feels like he got it all with the Undertaker, does it not?
Yeah, he did. And he still got some more after this. So, that was, just to me, it was an incredible match because it told a great story of just two gladiators getting in there and fighting their hearts out. And it was what it was, man. And you saw history in the making with the streak coming to an end. Had it been me, I'll go ahead and answer all the questions. I would not have ended the streak. Didn't like it. After the fact, you let it sink in for a while. I loved the finish, and I loved it being Brock. But if it was up to me, wouldn't have done it.
The questions that we're talking about, of course, the questions here on Patron. David wants to know, does Bruce think the Taker was okay with losing like this?
Yes, he was.
Roberto says, I heard there were talks about Undertaker wanting Kurt Angle to break the streak in 05-06. Is that true or just rumor and innuendo?
That's rumor and innuendo. 05-06, like I said, we talked about Randy Orton at one time, but then it was, we kind of were on a roll of keeping that streak alive.
Elliot writes, Paul Heyman once gave a speech, and when he kind of hinted that Brock Lesnar caused the streak to end by F5ing the Undertaker so hard that he wouldn't kick out for real, being that he was hospitalized and no music played, and even the announcers were waiting for clearance to continue with the streak ending. Could this be true or just Paul putting on more than what it was?
I would edge on the side of Paul putting on more than it was.
Okay. 100% that, but good for Paul.
Hey, look, man, Paul Heyman has turned this into
a business.
Fucking A. Why not?
Yeah. I mean, we did. Fuck.
Yes.
I mean, that's the first thing they wanted to talk about. A wrestling historian writes, who was strongly considered to end the streak over the years before it actually happened? You freestyled that it was Randy Orton, and then for a hiccup, Mark Henry. Who else?
Seriously, there weren't, there wasn't anybody seriously considered after that. Randy, because Randy was young and we were looking for that to be the point to really kick off Randy's career and give him that to be able to brag about at a young age. We felt he had it. We felt that it would really, really help him and catapult him to mega stardom. Cena's name was mentioned from time to time, but really after Mark Henry, man, we stopped talking about people taking the streak. We always made it a part of the story, but I don't think we ever really seriously considered anybody else ever doing it.
Bruce wants to know, or Tim wants to know, Bruce, who should have ended the streak?
I think they got the right guy. And other than that, if it wasn't Brock, I would have given it to Randy Orton.
Jason wants to know, has Bruce seen the Paul Heyman promo talking about the ending of the streak? He puts all kinds of shades of gray on it.
Yeah, I have. I've seen something where Paul has talked about it, and Paul and I have spoken about it one-on-one, and it's and I've spoken to Undertaker about it, but it's, you only know what you know. I wasn't there, so I gotta take everybody else's word.
Travis wants to know, do you think Taker had planned this to be his final match?
Taker was planning for it to be his final match all the way back in 06 and 07.
Nick wants to know, hypothetically, if Jim Cornette was in creative and wrote the ending of the streak, who would have been chosen, and what might the pitch to Vince sound like?
Goddamn. If we bring Bullet Bob back out of retirement, Bullet Bob will unmask him and then he'll end the streak.